Hello and welcome to the Remedy Fibers podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returner, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome to our new subscribers. I see some of you have been checking out this content. I hope that you enjoy. But today we have some spinning updates. I have some good and bad updates about the cardigan I'm working on. But if you're new here, I live in Northern California with my husband and dog Benny. I love everything yarn related and I hope you stay for my yarn journey. So let's talk about spinning first, because it took me a while to get back into the cardigan that I was knitting, and I'll tell you a little bit why later in this video. But we have some new updates on my spinning. So as you know, if you've been watching, I'm working on my spinning advent that I got from Nest Fiber back in December. So last week I showed you the 4 mini skeins that I worked on spinning for the 3-day weekend that I had, and this consists of Tarhi, Polworth, Merino Soy, and Polworth and Silk. So these are the first 4 combos. And then this week I was able to explore some of the newer types of wool that I never worked with before. So first up, this was the one that I didn't like, that it had that green and brownish colorways in it, but now that it's all spun up, it really is cohesive and the colors do really work well together. So this was the Rambouillet, and the Rambouillet was a little bit hard to draft. It was pretty rough compared to the other ones, so you really had to draft. I think it had a longer staple length as well, but as you know, I have not wet blocked these, soaked them at all. So this one has less twist than the other ones that had a lot of twist on it. So not sure what that means. Maybe I'm getting better at spinning. Maybe this needed more twist. But this is how it's looking so far. And the colors really are cohesive together. So I'm not mad at it. I feel like it does go with the ombre color scheme that Nest Fiber put together. So that was the Rambouillet. I did enjoy working with the Rambouillet. It was just a learning curve because I'm used to fiber that's able to draft much more easier, and this one was just harder to pull the fibers apart. Next up we have Tarhi, which I already showed you. This one also is Tarhi, but I'm loving the colors. This one is giving me very rainbow colors in a pastel kind of way. So this is how it's looking. All of these are chain ply and they're about 2 ounces per little package, so it works perfect with my small bobbins. And so that's the Tarhi one. Love Tarhi. I feel like Tarhi is a good beginner wool to spin with. Easy to apply, easy to learn from, easy to work with. And lastly we have the Falkland Merino. So I really like this one. Lots of pinks, lots of teals. This one had the least amount of color variation from all of the skeins that I worked. And so this one had hot pinks, light pinks, teals, blues. I really like how this one worked up as well. And then I did have a 4th roving that I needed to spin up, but I think I was a little bit unrealistic in my spinning goals, and I was only able to work up 3 this past week. So since we last met, this is the 3 that I've been able to spin up. So it's unrealistic to spin 4. I think because I had the 3-day weekend, I was able to spin 4, but for a 2-day weekend, 3 was more realistic. And this was also me only working on 1 project. So something to think about if you're trying to spin and knit, or spin and crochet at the same time. So as of right now, let me see if there's a good way for me to display all of these. As of right now, I'm not sure if you can see. If not, I will insert a picture. These are the color combos of the advent, and now let's open up the next 4, the final 4 of the advent. So right now I have days 21 through 24. So 22 has the little dove and 24 has the little ornament bell. And this was a December advent that I just avoided in opening it. My goal was to open all of these in the month of December and do little video vlogs along the way, but December was a very busy month. Also, it's the holidays, so I was traveling, so we'll just open it up together. And today we will be opening up number 21. Look at number 21, the lavenders, the purples. Look at that transition. I'm not a big fan of this color, but as we can see, it does blend nicely with the other colors, so I'm not mad at it. But this hot pink coral colors, I'm loving this one. I wonder what the combo, this one is full cormo. I know I have cormo combo, I think cormo and silk that I need to spin up, but this one's full cormo, so I'm excited this purple. I really want a full cardigan in this color. I have the other purples, but I don't have a lilac pretty purple like that. So this is the day 21. Let's see what day 22 has to bring with us. And it has this cute little dove. Speechless. This gives me like Easter colors. I love this green. This green, I also need a cardigan in this plant green. It looks like a plant. But I love the color combos. I love the hot pinks. Even it has some of that purple inside. And this combo is Polworth again. So I think so far I have one Polworth and silk, and then this is my second Polworth combo. So right now this is what we're working with here. And now let's open up number 23. This one's super pretty as well. I'm loving these greens, teals, and then the pink and purple combination. So this one kind of feels like a blend between both of these. And I'm curious in the comments, once I spin all of these up, what do you feel I should make with these? I'm not going to jump to any conclusions because I'm really indecisive of what this should be, but I really want it to be a special project since it took so much time and energy to spin these up. I'm just upset that I don't know how much yardage this is going to be, so I might have to figure out some calculations once we get closer to the end of spinning. So this combo is Tarhi, bamboo, and silk. This is the first time I'm seeing Tarhi with bamboo and silk. And just off the bat, it does feel very soft, very smooth compared to the last two that I just opened. And very, very pretty. Even though this was a December advent, I don't think these colors give like Christmas or holiday, so I am happy about that. They give me springtime, which is perfect for the upcoming spring season. And the last day of the advent, number 24. Let me open this up next. Look how pretty. Just looking at it right away, I can tell this type of wool content is very, very soft. And I feel like with the softer wool content, it's a little bit tricky for me to ply with. There's kind of like a learning curve. I kind of gravitate to some of the more Polworth, the Tarhi, that's easier to draft than the silky smooth ones that kind of slip out of your hands. So this one is BFL, milk, and silk. Never heard of milk before. Let me know down in the comments if you've heard of what milk is. But it's very soft. It kind of looks like sari silk. I guess that's what the silk content makes it very shiny, very soft, very smooth. But I'm worried about how easy it will be to ply this up. So for the final 4 of the advent, let me hold them all together so you can see them up close. But this is what we're working with. Very fun, very addicting. It's kind of a challenge of, do I want to knit and crochet or do I want to spin? Because spinning is a big time commitment. It takes me about, actually I'm going to time it for the next video, but I think it takes me about an hour to 2 hours to single ply, like pre-draft, do my first round of spinning, and then to chain ply it's much faster. It's about 30 to 40 minutes, I would say, maybe even faster than that. But the issue with chain plying is you're going to need some type of like lazy Kate or something to hold your bobbin while you're chain plying. And I would recommend a, what is it called? The one that has some tension on it so that the bobbin is just not spinning out of control. I did watch a chain ply tutorial where she said you don't need a tension lazy Kate. She said you don't need one, but I would argue that you do need one, because the issue that I was having when I was chain plying was the bobbin would go really fast on the lazy Kate, and then I would get a lot of coilies, and then I would have to try to chain ply it smooth, but the coilies were getting like caught, and it just was very difficult to maneuver. So if you do plan on chain plying, you definitely need some type of lazy Kate or some type of something to hold the bobbin while you're chain plying, and I would argue you need a tensioned one. So while I was editing, I realized that a big part of my works in progress were just completely missing. My camera has a setting where it only records about 10 to 11 minutes at a time, so as you can imagine, I was blabbing away. Good thing I caught it before I was going to publish the video, so I figured I'd just come back on to talk about my last work in progress. However, it has gotten darker, the lighting might not be great, so bear with me, but I wanted to come back on and talk to you about my Empire State Cardigan because it was such a big stressor for the week. I told you that I've been working on it. It's been really fun. It's a bottom-up cardigan by Knititude, aka Chanel, and I got 3 balls of yarn at my local craft shop. I asked if they had more, but since it was a craft shop, not a yarn shop, this was all they had in stock. So I went online to see how easy it was to find more balls of this. It was available, but there was a catch. So when I got the new order of yarn, I realized that the fiber content had changed. So even though it was the same Lion Brand collection, the same chainette, very similar colors, this one was 70% alpaca, let's say 25% wool and 5% polyamide, some fiber content of that makeup. But when I got the new balls of the chainette, I noticed right off the bat it looked different. It was more floofy, it had more of a halo, it was softer. And this one now, even though it's still chainette Lion Brand, it's 65 baby alpaca, 65% and 35% nylon. So I said it's completely different, and then I decided let me just Google it, maybe I made a mistake. It seems that Lion Brand changed their fiber content within the last year or two, even though they're still branding it as the same yarn, similar content, and it just was really frustrating because I knew that this new yarn was significantly lighter, so when I merged it with my existing project, it was going to be a little bit of a color difference, and then the feel of it just feels different. So I put a poll out on Instagram whether I should frog it or keep it, and about 60% of everyone said frog it. But because I am so stubborn and it took me a long time to get to the progress where I was at, I said there's no harm in at least trying to make it work. So I tried to alternate the skeins when I was working on the left front panel, and you can barely notice it. And now that the sun is going down, when I show you now on camera, you probably can't even see it. But let me show you the progress. I was able to push through, and I am really happy with it. So when you last saw it, I was working on the bottom portion of the cardigan. So from here to here, that was where I stopped. And so this part right here is the newest progress. Right now I'm working on the back panel, and I have to stare very intensely to see if there's even a color difference. I can barely notice it. But also there's like a little bit different texture from here to here. This one is a little bit, has more of a halo compared to this part. And then this is the part, this is the front panel, one of the front panels, and this is where I kind of alternated some skeins, and then I continued to knit with the new yarn because this is all I have of that previous yarn, and I want to alternate the skeins when I work on the other front panel just so I could have some symmetry. And so this is the front of the cardigan. I'm so happy with it, so soft, and I'm loving the bottom up cardigan construction. It's easier for me to conceptualize. Eventually, once I would finish the back panel, I would close these and seam it all up, and boom, the armhole is there. So eventually this part here will be the front panel that I'll work on, and then right now I'm just increasing for the back panel, which is right here. I probably should show you the stockinette side, the knit side. So it's very fun, very fast. I'm working on US 10 needles. The yarn is a size 4, so it does work up pretty fast. And I'm hoping to have this ready within the next 2 weeks, just so that when we get into that spring transition, whether I can wear it with dresses, tank tops. And even though I had that issue with the yarn, it took me about 3 days to get over it. I decided that there were a couple of errors on my behalf. So one, making sure that I buy sweaters quantity in one purchase rather than half in a craft store, half online. One, because the fiber content changed. Two, maybe the craft store, since it's not a yarn store, this was something that they got out of, what is it, when they're when they're not selling something anymore and they're just like, oh, here, sell it discounted, like it's not a in stock item anymore. So that was one issue that I ran into. That was my fault. But then after working with the new yarn, I do like the new yarn content more so than the previous content. I feel like it has more of a halo, it's softer, more cloud-like. So that would be my advice to you and to me. It's something that I always struggle with. I don't get enough yarn for a project. I'm like, oh, I can just order more. And in this case, I kind of saved myself, but it kind of bit me in the behind as well. So I'll be working on this. It's very addicting. I don't want to stop, and I'm trying to balance spinning with working on my cardigan, because even though I want more colorful items in my wardrobe, I feel like this will be a staple piece, something that will go with everything. And my aunt did give me advice that if I don't like the color transition, I can always over dye it. Because of the content, alpaca, wool, and nylon, I think it wouldn't have an issue to re-dye it. I want like a lilac cardigan. And I know that Kuta Vakika, she's a YouTuber, she's gonna be having an upcoming test with this purple cardigan that she made, and I want to make that. So figured I just hop on. Sorry for the lighting, technical difficulties. I was just so excited talking about yarn that I didn't even realize that the camera stopped recording. It doesn't make a sound, it doesn't make any light effect. I just know to cut it short between segments, and I got carried away with how excited I was to show you my spinning. So now we'll go to the next part, which I recorded earlier today. Next up, alongside the order that I made for the chainette, I also put an order so I can get free shipping, and I picked up Yarnalia Marvel. This is in the Ruby Shoes colorway, and I got 8 balls of this. And my plan is to cast on another cardigan, and which cardigan that will be, I'm not sure. Right now this one has about 164 yards and I have 8 of these. So I think the color was a little bit lighter on the computer screen. It's a little bit more Christmassy than I would have liked, but my plan is to pair this with a mohair, and so that it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be DK or Aran weight for the sweater that I was thinking about. But the contents for this wool are 60% superwash wool, 20% acrylic, and 20% nylon. So it is soft, it feels just like wool, and I'm thinking of holding this double and making a nice red cardigan. The color is okay, we'll see how it works out. Maybe I will choose a lighter mohair so that it can liven up the color. But this is something, a future project. I probably won't work on this for a couple months because I still have my Let Lopi yarn that I want to work on, and my current work in progress that's right here. But let me know what you think. What are you working on? But first, let's talk about Love is Blind. I know some viewers are active viewers of Love is Blind, and let's just say Kenneth, like, what happened? I'm not gonna do any spoilers, but what happened? And then the whole Jeremy, Sarah Ann, and Laura, that threw me for a loop. So I'm excited to see what next, actually it's tomorrow, the next drop of episodes will be released. However, I've gone down an Instagram rabbit hole, and I've been following like little meme pages or insider pages, and I'm learning more than the show has offered, and I think I've jumped ahead and I know more things that I probably should have been patient to watch. But let's just say it gets interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all my thoughts are. I already told you at this point I'm here for the drama, because it doesn't really seem like there's intention behind truly falling in love. It's more like a TV opportunity. And so I was trying to find something to watch while I was spinning, and I ended up watching, and I've been cringing. Like, I refuse to watch this show. People have talked about it, but I have fallen guilty of watching it, and now I would recommend it, but I recommend it with the asterisk because it is a little crazy, and it's The Ultimatum. And that show, I don't know if you've watched that one as well, but it's kind of like a reality love show where you go in with your partner, but then you like explore another relationship with another person for 3 weeks. You go back to your partner for 3 weeks, and then you decide if you're going to marry them, marry the new person, or leave unmarried, like leave single. So crazy. It's like too much. Like, if you have to give someone an ultimatum and go on that TV show, you might as well just end it. Like, it's your whole family's gonna be watching, your whole coworkers are gonna be watching, when you go to apply for a new job, they're gonna maybe they might know you from the show, or if they Google you. So at that point, just break up and don't go on the TV show. But for the entertainment purposes, it's a great show to have on while you're spinning. Other than that, I'll be interested in what you're working on, what you are spinning, what you're knitting, crocheting. I know we have some spindle lovers in the room, so I'll be interested on what fiber content you're working on these past few weeks. I know that as it gets a little bit warmer outside, I'm not so inclined to spin, but I'm going to try to spin throughout the summer months. And recently I got a newsletter from Andrea Renee Knits, Andrea Mari, and she's doing a spin along, a spin knit along. So you spin to knit, one of her traveler series, and she has a cowl, she has a hoodie, she has kind of like a cardigan with no sleeves. So I'm thinking about it. I still have some wool that I got from the Lambtown Festival that happens in the Dixon, California area. So I have about 15 ounces of wool that I still need to spin, but spinning just takes a long time compared to just having the yarn already. So I know last year I wanted to do one of her spins to knit, and I just didn't get around to it. So something that I'm entertaining. Let me know if you are in the market to spin to knit, if you have heard about her spin along, but something that I've been kind of contemplating as we get into the summer months, as well as when I finish up this, I need to start a new spinning project, because I'll spin for a while, then I'll go on a hiatus, I'll pick it up again, stop for a while. So I'm hoping to stop those in between moments and just kind of continue to practice spinning and getting better. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you and your family are happy, healthy, and safe, and talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.